All right, let's go back on the record. It's now 11:30, and we're ready to begin the reduction hearing, part of the agenda. If you're going to be testifying and you weren't here for the 9 o'clock agenda and you weren't sworn in, I need to place everyone under oath who's going to be speaking to me. So if you will be testifying, if you can please stand and raise your right hand, I'll swear everybody in together. Thank you. Do each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You can have a seat. When your case is called, please come up to the podium to my right. I will first get some background information on the case from Mr. Posner, the city's code enforcement supervisor, and after I've gotten that background information, then I will come back to you. You tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the request for the lien reduction. Once I've heard everything from both you and the city, in all likelihood I will enter an order that resolves the matter today. So let's go ahead and proceed in whatever order you have folks signed up, or however you're doing it.
Other matter number 4, CE 1803-0523, 1373 9th Street.
Mr. Sanders, if you'll step up to there.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay.
Mitch Posner, Code Enforcement, West Palm Beach. Case ending in 523, 1373 9th Street. Date ordered 5/23 of 18. Fine started 7/8 of 18. Ran for 262 days. Total is $26,200. Daily fine is $100 a day. Date of compliance 3/27 of 19. Same owner. History is it's a rental property with 23 total cases under their ownership. Mitigating factor for the application is low income. And the other relevant portion of the history is property was under this ownership previously came for a lien reduction in 2015 with a $29,000 lien reduced to $250. City is asking for 30%.
Quick clarification on the previous lien reduction. So was that paid, and then these are all different?
Yes, sir. The
cases?
previous one was paid.
Okay, so it wasn't like it
Right.
reverted
That's just
back.
it's part of the history. It's not before you today.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let me come on over. Sir, if you can tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about your request for the lien reduction.
Tyrone S.
Let me get you close to the microphone as I can get you.
Right, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyrone S. Sanders.
Thank you, sir.
The address, I wrote it down, the 1373 9th Street.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
And what happened, I was in, when I had that property rented out, I was in the hospital at St. Mary's for about 2 months. Didn't know what to do, how to do it. Couldn't do it then. Didn't have any money. And I finally got it, I finally did what the code enforcement told me to do. Eventually, when I got out of the hospital, I went there, and I had the house painted, and I put in hurricane windows. They had told me to get rid of those, take out those, what those things are called? Jalousies or whatever. And I had central air put in. So I had to, get some money from somewhere, 'cause I'm 68 now, and I had a little Social Security check coming in. It wasn't a whole lot, but I had to use it and get some help from my family. So it's all done now. I ended up getting a friend of mine paint it for me. He painted for me free, and I had to order those hurricane windows. And so the house is beautiful. A lot of people going by looked at how beautiful it is. Now make sure that the grass has been cut, so it has a sprinkler system in there as well. And the sprinkler system works good. It's beautiful, and they have gone and looked at it. But I want to thank Marie. What's her name again? Monique, I want to thank her for helping me out and telling me what I had to pay, the money I had to pay, like the 200 or 300, whatever it was. I did what she said do. So I just said I want to just thank all of the code enforcement for helping me out and telling me what I need to do. And that's what I did.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ma'am, is there anything that you wanted to testify about as well, or no? Okay. Anything else from the city?
City absolutely understands and appreciates his circumstances and definitely appreciates his spirit of cooperation. Our only concern is that it is a rental property and it's been cited 23 times and had a previous lien reduction. We just don't want to be in a position to continue to manage the rental property.
I understand that. All right, so in this case, we have a lien of $26,200. Based on the testimony that I've heard today, I'm going to agree to reduce that to $3,000. I can give you time to pay that. How much time do you need? Can you do that in 6 months?
$3,000. Yeah, well, I don't have that kind of income coming in, but it could be cut down lower. I would appreciate that too as well.
Well, I can stretch out the time. I can go as long as 12 months.
Okay,
So 12 months.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Matter number 6, CE 1908-0348, 821 North Tamron.
I'm sorry, tell me which agenda item that is again? Thank you.
Good morning, George Amon.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Case ending in 348, 821 North Tamarind, date order 10/16 of 19, fine started 11/18 of 19. Ran for 100 days, total is $20,000. It was $200 a day, date of compliance 2/26 of 20. It's the same owner history as 2 cases under their ownership. Mitigation is COVID delays.
Is what?
But delays due to COVID,
Okay.
delays in trying to abate the violations due to COVID. But the city does want to point out this was actually cited in August of 2019, which was certainly before we had any state of emergency for that. At the time, had not even applied for the rental license yet. And then again, when we received their application, said rental license at that point was expired. Same owner city's asking for 30%.
Thanks. Yes, sir. If you can tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the request for the lien reduction.
Yes, my name is George Amon. The address of the property you're looking for is 821 North Tamarind in West Palm Beach.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
It's really a good part of my fault. I was in the process of moving to Florida full-time, and I am resident here now, and I purchased that property to try and keep myself busy and make a few dollars, and I missed the magistrate's first appointment. That's on me completely. When I did purchase it, there were renters in. I thought that all the permits obviously would follow suit or have been done. That's, again, on me. I was incorrect. I worked with Miss Catherine St. Hilaire to get things fixed up. I had windows put in. I have now I've accomplished everything that I've been allowed to do. I put windows in, fixed everything up, and I'm working with Jackie Lazarus. I got a vendor number from West Palm Beach, and I just was a little shocked on the 100 days. I did miss my first appointment, and then there was an upstairs tenant that wouldn't allow me in, and he worked during the day. I couldn't get access. Access has been gotten. I fixed all the materials on the floors and whatnot. Then I tried getting it inspected again when COVID started. And I'm just looking, I'm in compliance now. I've got a resident downstairs and a resident upstairs. The resident downstairs is a Section 8, I guess they call it. And I'm just looking for a reduction. I did try it my best. I'm not making an excuse, just explaining that a lot of this was not my understanding the processes, and now I certainly do, and I'm hoping for some help.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anything else from the city?
No, sir, only that his application asked to be reduced to $2,500. I left that part out at the beginning, sorry. There was a time when we weren't doing interior inspections of occupied properties for COVID reasons, but this was complied in February of 2020, and that predates that issue. So I'm not completely sure which part of the COVID which violation was delayed by COVID on this.
Actually, by the time I got the tenant upstairs, which, by the way, was just brutal, and I had gotten a repairman upstairs to do the floors and do all the things that Miss St. Hilaire wanted me to do. When I did call for the inspection, I was told that at that time they weren't doing any inspections. So I'm really not blaming this specifically on COVID at all. Again, it was part learning curve and getting myself up to speed with the rules and regulations of West Palm. And I've accomplished that, and when Ms. St. Hilaire told me I was 100 days behind, I was kind of shocked. I didn't want to argue because I know part of this was my fault, but again, I'm looking for some help because I am in compliance now. I put new windows in, and I look to do some more business with West Palm with some indigent and CARES Act people if I can. So I'm just hoping I can get some help. I did do the best I could considering what I tried to accomplish. So that's where I'm at.
All right, so in this case, we have a $20,000 lien based on the testimony that I've heard today. I think 3 is the lucky number. I think $3,000 is an appropriate reduction in this case as well. How long will it take you to pay that, sir?
I can pay it today if that's
I'll
necessary.
put 30 days on the order.
Thank you. Do I pay that here now, or do I go to the? Yes, Your Honor, I'll take care of that today.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate your help. Thank you, sir.
Other matter number 2, CE 2005-0158, 5300 45th Street.
Is
5300 45th Street.
that you, sir? Come up here.
Come on up to the podium, sir. Thank you. Whenever you're ready.
Case ending in 158, 5300 45th Street. Date ordered 7/1 of 20. Fine started 10/30 of 20. Ran for 69 days. Total $13,800. Fine is $200 a day. Date of compliance 1/7 of 21. Same owner, 20 cases under their ownership, and mitigation given again is delays due to COVID.
What was the number of previous cases?
20.
Thank you.
20 previous cases. We do understand the COVID delay on this, that the timing is certainly correct, and the violation that was at issue at that point was parking lot repair, so we would have needed someone to come in to take care of that, and there were certainly delays in that field trying to get it done, which is why the city's asking for 30% instead of 50%.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir, go ahead and tell me your name and address, then you can tell me about the
This is
case.
Mohammed Yudin, 5300 45th Street, West Palm Beach, Florida 33407. And since I got this notice here, and I tried to my best to do this compliance, and then I contract with a few contractors. There's the delay for this COVID. So that's what the delay. Now that's why I have a little delay to complete this in compliance. We are like hurting the business right now, so that's why I apply for lien reductions.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anything else from the city on this one?
Just for a matter of record, if we can get the respondent's home address, because this is a commercial property, so I don't think he meant to say he resides there.
Oh, sure. Can you state your residence address for the record?
My residence address?
Yes, sir.
2721 Traynor Terrace, Wellington, Florida 33414.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else you wanted to tell me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. So in this case, we have a $13,800 lien. Based on the testimony that I've heard today, I will agree to reduce that to $2,500. Can you pay that in 30 days?
Thank you, sir.
30 days. Thank you.
Matter number 1, CE 15110343, 1236 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard. And matter number 5, CE 18050317, 1236 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, same address.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, proceeding in chronological order, oldest case first, case ending in 343, 1236 Palm Beach Lakes. Date order 23 of 16, fine started 4/4 of 16, ran for 387 days. Total $58,050, $150 a day. Date of compliance 4/26 of 17. For this earlier one, it was already accruing when they purchased the property. It was caused by the previous owner. Case ending in 317, 1236 Palm Beach Lakes. Date ordered 8/1 of 18. Fine started 8/31 of 18. Ran for 451 days. Total $45,100. $100 a day. Date of compliance 11/25 of 19. Same owner. History is 14 cases under this ownership. The mitigation is basically that they're saying it was caused by the tenants, and there was other damage by the tenants that they had to deal with this. And apparently somebody brought an ADA civil suit against them at some point. These are all civil issues, and the owner is ultimately responsible for the property as cited. On the earlier one, where they're the new owner, the city's asking for 30%. On the one where they were the owner of record, the city is asking for 50%.
Thank you. Okay, Why don't you go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the case.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Josh Resnick from the law firm of Nason Yeager. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, ARCPE GP Plaza, and I'm here with a representative from that entity, Mr. David Gordon. Mr. Gordon, can you please give the address for ARCPE?
David Gordon, 1900 Sunset Harbor, Miami Beach, Florida.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, there's a total fine on this property between the two cases of $103,150. We asked in our position statement for a 90% reduction in that amount. We would respectfully request as much of a reduction as Your Honor would be willing to give us, as much as a full reduction. And the reason why we would ask you to consider this, Your Honor, is this is a problem property in not such a great area of town. Since my client acquired the property, it's put almost $750,000 into the property to try to upkeep it. They installed new landscaping, security cameras because there was a crime problem on the property. They were dealing with neighborhood surrounding the property. The residents of that neighborhood were coming onto the property and dropping off trash. They spent a lot of money cleaning it up, securing the dumpsters. And ultimately, Your Honor, everything is in compliance now. They actually spent about close to $570,000 to bring the property into compliance, and then they spent about an additional $200,000 installing the landscaping, putting in new windows, making the property appear more pleasing, and also, again, put that money in to install security cameras and make the property a safer place. So ultimately, Your Honor, these violations were not severe. It's ultimately there was graffiti on the property, trash on the property, debris, the asphalt was torn up. This was all the way the property was ultimately acquired by my client. They fixed all of those issues. And then this later case in 2018 was an issue with their anchor tenant, that's Family Dollar. There was an issue with the sanitary conditions of the property. There was excess signage in the windows. We did everything we could to get them to fix those issues. We tried to go into the property ourselves to clean it up. We even threatened litigation against this large national retailer, which would have only pushed us back farther. But we did it, and ultimately they did what they needed to do, and they brought the property into compliance. And so here we are today, and that's the reason for such a drastic request. And Mr. Gordon has requested that he can address you as well.
Yes,
Good morning,
sir.
Your Honor. This is a property we bought in foreclosure when I feel like we're being a little bit taken advantage of because we took it in foreclosure and some of the things that have happened with this property. We've lost 30% of our tenants the property is currently 30% unoccupied, which is not your problem, and I understand that. We've spent a ton of money on what this property is compared to other things in the neighborhood, including trying to work with the city, which has taken down fences before we were there. And because of that, apartment buildings are throwing trash all over our properties, which I have videos. We've had drug deals and a major drug bust that was in the news on the property, along with a daycare that moved out after less than 3 months. This was a shooting that happened in those windows. Before we purchased the property, it was a jail cell, meaning it had the bars all over the windows, and the city would not say that's not in compliance. We've tried to beautify the property, and if we didn't have those windows in, kids could have died. There was bullet holes in the windows, and the daycares moved out, along with a number of other tenants because of that. I've tried to work very closely with the city, extremely closely with compliance, and some of the things I think are a little bit of an overreach, putting $30,000 of plants and trees on a property that hasn't been touched in over 10 years, 15 years, giving me fines for Family Dollar, a Fortune 100 company. It's just kind of, I think, a little bit of a stretch. I'm happy to work with the city, and anytime the city has called us, we've worked as quickly as we can to fix these problems, but I've dealt with these problems for over 3 years now. I have again, not the city's problem. I have an extremely high interest rate on this property through a mortgage. I could have refinanced this already, but because of these liens over 3 years, I couldn't do anything with this property. I'm not blaming anything to COVID or anything else other than having Every time I get a new tenant in the property and they put a lien on the property for construction, something else comes up. $50,000 lien for, sue happy people for a handicap violation, et cetera. I could go on and on about this all day. I honestly think this should be brought down to zero because of all the work we've done. And we're happy to continue working with the city, but we need people work with us as well. And 3 years for dealing with this is ludicrous for the timeline.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Posner, do you have anything further from the city?
Regarding the financials for the $2.7 million property, we have no reason to dispute anything they sent or anything they've spent. I'm certain they did. But they are ultimately responsible, especially for the second case, which was under their ownership. Their application, what they actually said was that they're not irrevocable violations, and we would agree with that, or we wouldn't be here for a lien reduction. Had they been irrevocable, they wouldn't have been eligible. So the city is sticking with the 30% and the 50% for the two violations. We certainly couldn't agree with 90% or zero.
Final comments?
Judge, the only thing that I would add is we've been trying to get in for this hearing for 3 years we've been trying to get this lien reduced, and we had a lien reduction application in for the first case back in 2017, and we ultimately couldn't come to a hearing on it because of this ADA lawsuit, open permits related to us trying to get the property into compliance, and we actually submitted this most recent application, I think back in August, and we were set for a hearing I think in December, which was canceled at the last minute because there was supposedly some sort of other open case that we were never told or aware about. We were actually told a few weeks ago that there was some open case from years and years ago that had accrued in a $700,000 fine that we were never notified of, and that was coincidentally administratively closed by the city. And then before we could even have this hearing today, we were notified on Monday morning that we needed to pay a utility bill for the month of February on February 1, just to have this hearing set less than 48 hours in advance. So I just ask you to take that into consideration as well.
Okay. All right, so we have a 2016 case with a $58,000 and change lien on it, and a 2018 case with a $45,000 and change lien on it. Based on what I've heard today, I'm going to agree in the case end, the 2016 case, the case ending in 0343, reduce the lien of $58,050 to $6,000. And in the case ending in 0317, that's a $45,100 lien. I will agree to reduce that to $10,000. Can you pay those within 30 days?
Fine.
Within 30 days. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, counsel, please give Mr. Famaro my regards.
What's that?
Please give Mr. Famaro my regards when you get back to the
I
office.
will. Thank you, sir.
Other matter number 3, CE 17030544, 729 55th Street.
Good morning.
Morning.
Whenever you're ready.
Case ending in 544, 729 55th Street, date ordered 5/3 of 17. Fine started of 6/3 of 17, ran for 1,270 days. Totals $127,000. Fine was $100 a day. Date of compliance 11/24 of 20. This is the same owner, and when they applied, there was even an additional open case that had to be resolved. The mitigation is they claimed that there was no notice and they didn't receive anything. But I got the original notice of violation and the PAPA sheet from the time if needed. It was sent to the correct address listed with the county for an address in Israel. I can't speak to how well that can be received in Israel, but it was posted to property, of course, and City Hall at the time. Normally, it would be a 30% ask, reducing that to 20% based on the size of the lien.
Thank you. Yes, sir. If you tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the request for the reduction.
My name is Doron Nissim. My home address is 10446 Buenaventura Drive, Boca Raton, Florida, 33498. I'm requesting the lien reduction for this rental license. When we purchased the property, my business partner, he has an address in Israel, and the title company put it as the owner address. And the management company that was managing the property, they were supposed to do the rental license, and we never knew about it. When we knew about it, that was late in 2020. As you know, COVID hit in March 2020, and the tenants stopped paying, so they never paid us for 2020, and we decided to sell the property. And once we did the title search, we found out about this violation that we never knew about. So I was trying to get the city code enforcement to go into the property and check it, but the tenants were very hostile and they didn't let us go in. They're old people and they didn't let us go in. So we could not do the inspection for the property. And it took me another 3 months to get them out of the property and close the violation. So it took me more time. And once I met with the code enforcement officer and the property, they closed the violation, and they did tell me to fix other things, and I fixed everything. I painted the property, I fixed everything inside, and I spent a lot of money to do that. And I met with the code officer a few times just to fix more things over there, but now everything is set in compliance. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Anything else from the city?
Just that, as always, it's ultimately the property owner's responsibility, even if one of the partners has an address in Israel, or even if they've hired a management company that didn't necessarily do what it was supposed to do.
Are there any other prior violations?
No, just the two cases, the one with the lien and the one that had been opened, that was open at the time they applied for it.
All right, anything else, sir, before I?
I would request to reduce it as much as possible because of last year. We haven't received any income from this property, and cost us a lot of money to upkeep it and fix it to get it into compliance.
All right, so in this case, we have a $127,000 lien that ran for almost 3 years. It's a rental license and certificate of use. Based on what I've heard today, I'm going to agree to reduce this lien down to $8,000. How long will it take you to pay that? Can you do that in 60 days?
You have an older copy, correct?
Yeah.
In 60 days. Okay. All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, sir, how much was it?
8,000 in 60 days.
Your Honor. Your Honor. May I ask one thing regarding this property?
I'm sorry, I can't really hear what she's saying.
Can
Yes,
I ask
ma'am.
one more question about this property? I'm Sharon, I'm his wife.
Go ahead.
Talking about the fact that the tenant, the elderly people lived there for that year and we couldn't receive any rent from them. Is there any place we can apply for, I don't know, some help with that? Or they moved because we just couldn't hold it with all the city problem. We couldn't sell it, we couldn't do anything. So we couldn't stress them or push them out of the property, but so they moved when they moved. But is there any, I don't know, any kind of help we can get based on that fact from the city or from, Is that the right place to talk about it? I am just not sure.
I'm not sure.
If your question is help in reducing it further, only the magistrate can address that question.
No, I mean, I've entered my order on the lien.
Right.
If,
Is that what your question is?
I didn't think that's what the question was, though.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, I have no idea what is the question for this one.
CE 19080021 Pilgrim Road.
Good afternoon. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Case ending in 021-250 Pilgrim Road. Date ordered 9/18 of 19, fine started 1/17 of 20. Ran for 174 days, total 34,800. Daily fine was 200 hours a day. Date of compliance is 7/9 of 20. 5 cases under their ownership. We did have some delays getting here. First of all, the original lien application, when it was paid for, the check bounced, and we had to wait further for payment. He says he advised in the application he was unaware of the fine. There was contact with the respondent before and after the hearing. He was also dealing with historical, because it was historical property that he had put decorative tile on the outside without authority from historical or a permit application. The only other thing I want to point out, and I'm going to give you a copy of the application, is, actually I want to read from this as well. When asked about what they're asking to reduce it to, basically this was, or it wasn't a request, it was a demand to reduce this to 0, ending with, I'm not paying anything. It's owner caused, it was historical property, the city's asking for 50%.
50? 50?
50.
Thank you. Okay, thanks. Sir, tell me your name and address, please, and then you can tell me about the request for the lien reduction.
My name is Ivan Rizov, and I'm owner of 250 Pilgrim Road, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33405. Zip
Go
code.
ahead. Thank you.
I was restoring this house, decided to put these tiles outside to make...
Can I get you a little closer to the microphone? I'm having a little trouble hearing you. Thanks.
I was restoring the house inside. I decided to eventually add little more boost to the neighborhood with these decorative tiles, because I know this is historical neighborhood, but particularly this street, it's kind of a little different than some of the other streets with the historical Spanish two-story homes. In these streets, you can see a lot of this house made in the end of 1940s. And I was thinking more color will bring a little bit more buzz to the rest of the neighborhood. I realized later, because I had already information that I need to contact the code enforcement and eventually historical board of preservation, which I did. Was working closely with Richard Pazmino and Frederick. Forget her last name. I had a meeting in this room, and the decision it was to remove the tiles around the windows, around the garage, around the door, front door. I didn't have a deadline, and because I'm taking care of handicapped girl, my daughter, I was thinking I can do this later, and it was no information that it is lien already on it, which I did find out by accident. Friend of mine find out this from me by accident on public records that there it's a lien. Basically, I got another 2 times information, something wrong goes with the grass or some other things from the code enforcement, particularly from Richard Pasmino, and basically immediately I reacted and did this. I'm sure if I knew about this lien and deadline from this department, I would probably do this faster. When I find out about it and contact the city of West Palm Beach, immediately took care about it, start working on it. Basically, it was not easy before to find anybody to give me a hand as a handyman or somebody to remove this. I did it by myself. Basically, I'll tell you one more thing. I have a master's degree of restoration of fine art, and I've been working for many years in Palm Beach and restored many homes, and some of them they received prize for the best restored house when it comes to the colors and all this for Southeast United States, Meisner Prize. Basically, always I would preserve the historical values and all of this, and never go against. The thing is here that it's a decorative stuff. I didn't build a extra room or anything. I didn't know that I have to apply for a permit for these tiles. And looks like the people like it. Even here, the historical board, they didn't decide to remove all of them, just part of them. And I've been following the orders and doing what they told me to do. And this is the reason I said that they want to pay a penalty for that, particularly because I know exactly what it is and very well to preserve historical values. With this COVID, I lost jobs and all this. I'm here telling you the truth that we're living there on base of salary of my wife, which is not very big salary. And I don't think this is a big violation. This is the reason I decided to say in the end that I don't feel really very guilty for this, that, you know, to pay $20, $30, almost $5,000 penalty for something that is removable, that I don't know, maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but it brings a little more character to the neighborhood. The colors are not black, not something crazy. This is, I'm dealing all my life with the compositions, with colors. I know exactly what I did.
I have a question.
The whole Mar-a-Lago, it's in tiles. All the idea came from Palm Beach, basically, in this Hispanic influences.
I have a question. Did the Historic Preservation Board ultimately approve what you did, or did you have to make changes to comply with the Historic Preservation Board's
They
approval?
approved more than 95% of it. They asked me to remove, if you see in the pictures, these windows around the front door, around the window and around the garage, and keep it lined, let's say, 3.5, 4 feet from the floor.
Okay.
Up.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from the city on this one?
I'll confess I couldn't completely hear everything. If I understand the facts correctly, there's no question of proper notice. There was contact before and after the hearing. So he saw the notice, contacted us, chose not to go to the hearing, understood there was a deadline, but not that the deadline came with a fine, because if he was aware there was a fine, then he would have met the deadline. But between that choice to not meet the deadline, if he was unaware of it or of the fine or not, and the application we received, this is not what we would call the spirit of cooperation when dealing with the property owners. But the city's ask it stands at 50%.
Okay. Anything else? Well, it's up to you, sir. This is your
Sure,
case. Were you sworn in, sir?
Yes, I was.
Okay, go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can.
My name is John Neese. I live in Tequesta, Florida, 277 Gulfview Drive in Tequesta. I'm a good friend of Mr. Rizov's, and I'm a state-certified residential appraiser. The only thing I wanted to add is Mr. Rizov currently is under tremendous economic pressure because he's lost his livelihood because of the COVID. He usually does restorations in Palm Beach. He's an artist. And you would think that the Historical Society said, look, remove some of the tile, not all of it. So it was a matter of personal preference of the Historical Society. And it just seems to me that the $35,000 fine is excessive for a matter of preference with tile. And according to Mr. Rizov, he has told me that he never received notice, about the code enforcement. He never received a letter. And there were circumstances that the $35,000 is quite severe for a matter of preference on tile in front of a building. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, sir. Anything?
We certainly have no knowledge of his financial situation, and of course, you're required by code to take that into account. But again, regarding notice, it was sent out to the proper address. He made contact after receiving notice. The information for the hearing was on the notice, and after the hearing, legal would have sent a notice of the order to the property owner listed on, with the address listed on the county. So notice in all cases is proper in this.
All right, final words, sir. Anything else that you'd like to tell me?
Most importantly, not of one of this, like arrived from Poland, one of these immigrants here that, I'm playing with against the law, anything like this. Always, I've been strictly following the rules, and absolutely I didn't receive anything. Basically, I received from the code enforcement email 1 week and a half or 2 weeks ago with the letter, which it was sent to me at that time. I never received it. I would take care of this probably quicker. I'm after some surgeries and all this, but I would do this because of the fines.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have a $34,800 lien. Based on what I've heard at this hearing today, I will agree to reduce this to $7,000. Can you pay that within 6 months?
No. I don't have enough money to support the family for the moment. I lost 2 jobs. It was moment that we didn't have electricity for 1 day even.
I'll put 12 months on the order.
It's too much, sir. 7,000 is too much. I cannot do that. For several square feet of tiles around the windows, around the garage, I cannot tell you how hurt I am from this because of the things I have done always properly.
I understand what you're saying. I've made my decision. We'll give you 12 months to pay that, but I'm reducing that lien by about 80%. I think that that's the appropriate resolution based on what I've heard today. So I'll sign that order.
Do you have
All right.
any other rights to appeal for this money?
You can seek legal counsel. I can't give you legal advice on what your legal rights may be going forward.
So
from
this is the
hearing.
best you can do, $7,000 for such decorative things?
That's what I said. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, was that conclusion of all the matters on the agenda? Then it's
Yes.
12:19, and we stand adjourned.